Hey everyone, Clone Wars here. And today, when it comes to Incredibox, we're going to do something very different for it. So, no review or ICS episode today. But more so an analysis on a certain character in a mod, which isn't something that I would make when it comes to Incredibox, but this one I find it fruitful enough to make a video of. So, let's get to it. So let's start off to where all things start. The first chapter in this series. When we see Do at first, we see that he's a diver of some kind, rusting away in it as if he was in the ocean for a very long time. One weird thing about him is that we don't know what kind of creature he is. I know that Evadare is a town with monsters, but this guy stands out like a sore thumb. Not just because he wears a diving suit, but also because we don't really know what he is. At least for now. Another thing to mention is in bonus 2, we see an eye that looks at Rafe, or Raph, whatever. Keep this info in mind, since I'll bring this up later in the video. Anyways, let's get to the next chapter. Once we see Do again, the first noticeable detail about him is his suit is a lot more darker, but also cleaner than last time. Which is pretty weird since we never saw how he changed the color of his suit or how he cleaned his diving helmet. But my best guess is that he recently dived back into the ocean and this is how his suit really looks like. Speaking of the ocean, this is where we go deeper into it and head on to this is where we get more to what he is here. His suit is completely gone except for his helmet, revealing his human arms, which might imply that he's human, but we also see a giant eye in his helmet, which also applies he's a monster like everyone else. But there's also one detail in which in his animation, his eye looks directly at us, the player, which might also imply that he's aware of the game he's in. There's also some rope tied around his waist section. I know that's a weird detail to point out, but trust me when I say that this is going to be important later. Alright, that's all 3 main chapters covered. Now let's get into Now you guys might be wondering, how the heck does Melody 1 from full stop punctuation the same character as Do? Well, if we compare to Void Do, we see that they're the same body type. Which of course every polo are the same body type, but there's also some similar elements like having one eye, and at the bottom you can see that there's weird straps at the spine, just like how there's rope on Void Do's waist. Sure, you can make the argument that Do and Oz's arms aren't the same, but even with that, everyone else in full stop punctuation has changed to look more disturbing versions of themselves. But I also believe that because of the skinless arms, that they are the same entities, because back at Evadare, we saw him in his rotten suit, which might suggest that his body is decaying, which also explains the rope detail in Void, since he's trying to keep his organs intact. And another detail to note is that has hair, which might imply that he was once human before he morphed into what he is now. So, in summary, both do and are the same characters, and there's a lot of evidence to prove it, which makes the true form of do and how he really looks like without his suit. But how's he canon? Well, remember the eye that was looking at Wraith back at Evadare bonus 2? That is the same eye that has in his socket. Sure, the full stop punctuation mod isn't canon, but that's mainly because it's an alternative ending. Still exists as a character in the main Evadare story, so removing full stop punctuation from the timeline doesn't change anything. Now, one more thing to talk about is his actual name. No, not the FSP one, where it's just multiple A's, the regular one. Now, if you know anything about Evadare, you know that it uses other languages and an ancient language as a storytelling device. So if Evadare can mean escape in Romania language, then the word do has to mean something, right? Well, I tried to search what it actually mean, and the results are not that useful at all. And honestly doesn't explain anything about do as a character at all. So overall, I got nothing. But anyways, that's the end of this video. And I'll see you next time when I get my Misai review done eventually.